So welcome into the GVH Football Show. It is a Thursday night, the 16th of October 2025, and after the international break, the FIFA window, we're going to see FIFA World Cup qualification matches played across the globe, and in Africa, the conclusion of groups of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers CAF chapter, where we'll see the 9 automatic teams qualified to the World Cup after topping their respective groups, and the 4 best second-place teams, of course, set for the playoffs. Now focus shifts to the domestic leagues, and for Uganda that means back to business for the start times Uganda Premier League, and our focus is just on that. Now I'm currently at the Yes Center Sports Arena in Zambia, and under the floodlights of this facility is Police Football Club, one of the teams in the start times Uganda Premier League, and Police Football Club, one of the oldest teams in Ugandan football. Now they are getting ready for match day 3. They'll be going up against NEC Football Club on Saturday at the MTN Omondi Stadium in what's expected to be quite an interesting and dramatic and entertaining game in all the sense. Now, focusing on Police Football Club this evening per se, they've had quite a smooth training session so far from what I've been able to observe, and they'll be hoping that they're able to fine-tune their preparations and try to maintain and sustain what has been an impressive start for them to this season. Police Football Club has played 2 matches so far and have 4 points, maximum of 4 points. They drew their first match, and their most recent match against Express Football Club, they were able to win by 2-1, which has them at a very impressive start compared to last season. The first 2 games that they had last season, they had only 2 points from a maximum of 6, but this season so far in 2 matches, they have 4 points for a maximum of 6, and this is already better than their first 3 matches of last season, because in the first 3 matches of last season they had a maximum of 3 points, 3 draws, but now in 2 games they have a much better points tally, and they'll be hoping that a positive result on Saturday against NEC Football Club will even be much better. Now, Police, you have to give you a little bit of background, because this is expected to be a better season for them than last season. Last season they finished 11th the start times Uganda Premier League, and they were considered the draw masters. They had the most number of draws last season, that's 12. Only Bulls Football Club and Okiso had 1 less, that's 11 for both those sides, but they were considered the draw masters. Police Football Club were promoted once again the start times Uganda Premier League last season, and were able to hold on and stay in the top flight. Now, Police has been relegated from the top flight only twice in their history. The first was back in 1969, and they returned to the top flight in 1979, if I'm to be correct, 1979. Thereafter, they were relegated in 2022 and returned only in 2024. But in between their most recent relegation, they were able to win the top flight, that's the Uganda Premier League, in 2005 in what was a very historic achievement for this football club. But since then, they've been a shadow of their former selves. A couple of key players they had and star players they had when they won the league, and in the recent past as well, trying to bring back a number of key players, but it just hasn't been that side that won the top flight in 2005. However, perhaps this time it could be different. Not the kind of team that just might be able to win the league, but a team that continues to show progress ever since their promotion to top flight in 2024. Now, this season, they've been able to register a couple of key signings. A number of players have been able to be registered for this football club, Police Football Club, and perhaps the top of the peak is Said Chayune, the former URA Express El Marik in Sudan, as well as Maroons and Proline Football Club player, who has also had a stint with the Uganda Cranes, and in the 2021 African Nations Championship was the star of the Uganda Cranes, having scored 2 of their 3 goals, including a blockbuster goal from long range, which has for so often been played, has been replayed on the CAF advertisements as well as the FA advertisements. But he has to be the top of the signings so far. He signed for the club this previous transfer window and was already made the captain. And so he, of course, as well as a number of other experienced players, have been able to join this football club. But besides that, towards the end of last season, there was a crisis at Police Football Club and they looked to be headed for the drop. However, they made technical changes, and Matia Lule, former Express, KCCA, as well as the Uganda Under-17 and Under-20 coach, was called in, and who was able to keep Police Football Club up in the top flight. And he came on an interim basis, but now he continues as a head coach for the 25-26 season. So his experience and how he's as well being able to integrate the players and and be able to implement his approach. Looks to be working so far, and I think the results speak for themselves. But beyond that as well, Police Football Club have a new stadium. They have a new arena, Chira Road Police Arena. For last season, the past couple of seasons, they've been playing their football at the different ground, but this time they have their very own home ground, which makes things even much better for Police Football Club. Infrastructure, we know, is quite key to the success of any football club. So the works that started in 2023 this year, the Uganda Police Force officially was able to unveil the new Chira Road Police Stadium. It is not particularly fully furnished just of yet, but it is one facility that no doubt they can call home and is being renovated into a standard sports facility, which will also be able to host other sports disciplines such as athletics. But it was officially unveiled, and they were able to as well use that in one of the first games here of this new season. So infrastructure, new key experienced players, as well as a new coach, as well as a coach, makes Police Football Club quite ready for this season, and they are expected to have, as I aforementioned, a better season than last season. So up next, of course, for Police Football Club is a trip to MTN Stadium to play NEC Football Club. This fixture between the two sides last season ended in a draw on both occasions, home and away. Playing away at the MTN Stadium, they're able to register a goalless draw, and they'll be hoping that can be the case for NEC against NEC Football Club, a team that has continued to also progress, and it's no doubt going to be a tough side for Police to face next on Saturday. But nonetheless, given the fact that they've started the season quite well, and with all the positives that are surrounding the football club, they'll be fancying their chances against NEC Football Club. Last time they did lose once, but that was in the Uganda Cup. That's the domestic cup tournament, losing 2-0. But in terms of their league form, they'll be hoping to replicate that, and this time perhaps go a step further. Now, one other player that is as well quite important for this side is no doubt the DR Congo player, Badia, who was able to score the winner for them against Express in their previous encounter, their previous match. So they'll be hoping that this time around that these key players, as well as the DR Congo striker, who's also part of the training session this evening, can be able to help them get the job done against NEC Football Club. But also in the new Starting Premier League format, help them to finish in the top 8 in the first round after 15 matches, and hope that they can be able to go all the way to the third round and perhaps compete for the title. Can they be able to do that? That's the big question. Can they replicate what they did in 2005, but also replicate what they did in the second tier, where after the relegated were able to win the FIFA Big League, the second tier, and get promoted to the top flight? Can they be able to replicate those particular seasons? That will be the big question. How fast can the players integrate? So far, so good, but they need to sustain that. And if they're able to, then perhaps it will be much, then they could have perhaps one of the most successful seasons in recent past in the top flight, different from what they're able to experience in 2005, winning the third times Uganda Premier League. So we'll be keeping tabs on them and get to see how their upcoming fixture will be able to unfold on Saturday.